virginity. She said men head for the hills when they find out she's a virgin. Don't want the responsibility of being the first. I could see that, Diesel said.
Okay.
She thought maybe Annie sent you to do the job. Diesel grinned. I could take a crack at it. I raised an eyebrow. What? Diesel said. Men. Diesel grinned wider and rumpled my hair. And I
well, let's go gaming.
Just trying to be helpful,
Yeah.
Diesel said.
Had internet issues last night. Cracks me up. Because I literally just finished this, so we gotta do it again.
Sneaky? There's no issue. She feels like she's sort of dumb about the whole thing. Like at 35, she should have some technique behind her. I imagine you could help her with that one, Diesel said. I guess, but I'm not sure I'm that expert. I'll test you out, let you know how you score, Diesel said, the grins in his face. Rate you on a scale of 1 to 10. Now there's an offer every girl dreams about. Diesel's phone rang, and he took the call. Yeah, he said into the phone. How bad is it? He listened for a minute, disconnected the car, put it into gear. Where are you going? We're going for Beaner. He attacked a woman in a diner 2 blocks from Ernie's bar. My son said Beaner went in for breakfast, saw this woman, and went nuts on her because she resembled his wife. Jeez, what did he do to her? Is she going to be all right? She'll recover, but it won't be fun. Diesel headed for the center of the city. I know Beaner is living in the neighborhood around Ernie's. I placed him there a week ago, but I can't get a fix on him. I thought we'd go over and walk around and see if I get a vibe. I looked back at Bob. It's freezing. I can't leave Bob sitting in the cold SUV all day. Lock him in your bathroom so he doesn't eat your couch. Your bathroom is nice and big. He'll be okay.
Well, you have done this so often that you hardly need me. You should be doing this with your eyes closed this time, yes? Do not worry, I shall be here. I will not miss this for anything. Now, make your preparations. You will be ashore soon.
Swear, but Peter didn't register. It was great. We they've got sandwiches for lunch.
Not yet.
Not human, Diesel said. I just have a few extra skills.
Whatever.
You can stop. Meet back here at 3 o'clock. I started with the girl at the register in the deli, asking if she'd seen a guy with a raspberry birthmark on his face. Her answer was yes. I went to the office next door. The guy saw me. No one had seen Beaner. I spoke to the doorman at a condo building and the receptionist at a high-rise office building. No Beaner. I went 4 blocks south, stopping people on the street. I crossed the street and worked my way back to the deli. No luck at all. By the time I met up with Diesel, covered snow was angling down and stinging my face. Snow is picturesque. In New Jersey, it's a big It slows traffic and makes walking treacherous. Dogs turn the snow yellow, and cars turn it into brown sludge. And that, Diesel asked, how about you? Sick. I felt my cell phone buzz. It was Larry Brogan, and I could barely understand what he was saying. He was talking about speed and stylus. He said, we'll just leave it. It's it. I just, thank you. I'm going to talk to him, and I think it's out. I don't think I can drink much more coffee, but I can stop myself from leaving. How many cups have you had? I don't know. Let's go. We're on our way, I told him. Try to hang in there, and for God's sake, don't drink any more coffee. Chapter 6. Larry Burley was pacing when we walked into the shop. He said, my heart is racing, and my eyes twitching. My eye twitches like this. Maybe I need another call to sell my nerves. Put a coat on him and walk him around outside in the cold, I noticed. See if you can get some of the caffeine out of his system. I can't walk out of the shop. We shot the shop yourself. You can see it was trying to get our guy wants to call it. It's very expensive. It's expensive. It's the thing. I'm not allowed to debone. The real butcher will be back in an hour, but I'm not sure he'll be fit to use sharp tools. How about a nice roasting chicken? I don't want a chicken, she said. I need a pork roast. Okay, how about this? I'll give it to you for free if you'll take it with the bone in. It's a special promotional deal. I guess that would be okay.
If you find the right kind of vehicle,
I took the roast back to the store, fixed some butcher paper, and gave it to the woman. Have a nice day, I told her. 20 minutes later, Diesel returned with Burger. How's he doing? I asked Diesel. He stopped stuttering, and his eyes almost completely stopped twitching. I had to bring him back because I think his nose is frostbitten. This weather sucks. I'm putting in for an assignment in the Bahamas after this. Can you do that? Nah, I go where I'm needed. There aren't a lot of people who can do my job. This person who asked. No, nobody bought anything. The coffee delivery scheme isn't working, Diesel said. We need to think of something else. The coffee delivery scheme is perfectly okay. It's Burley we need to fix. He needs practice, I said. I need a coffee person, and you be Larry. I'll walk in and you start a conversation with me so we can see how it's done. I went outside, and then I came in and practiced. There's your coffee.
Let's go out. Alright.
Diesel just walked me and he smiling. I felt like kissing you. It was cold outside, and we were all nice and warm. Said, it wasn't great, was it?
Yes.
Bad example.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
I'm gonna hand you the cookie. I went outside and stood on the sidewalk, sucking in cold air. My kiss had actually been pretty damn terrific. Not that it was going to lead to anything, but it was terrific all the same. I pulled myself together and came back in and pretended to hand Burlu a cup of coffee. Burlu took the coffee and looked at me blank-faced. What do you say? I asked him.
Quick.
Thank you. What else?
Quick.
Burlu was stumped. Tell your name, I said. Larry Burlu. My name is Gerald, I told him. Silence. I jumped back in. Tell you the name of the future. Sure, it means something.
We need a big
That's stupid, Jesus said. He'll sound like a dork. What would you suggest? I'd get right to it. Tell her I was going to catch the Knicks game at the sports bar down the street, and I'd ask her if she wanted to join me. You can't just say thanks for the coffee and then ask her out to a bar. It's too abrupt. And how do you know she's a Knicks fan? It doesn't matter. It's a guy thing. It makes him look like a guy. If he says something dorky about her name, she'll think he's a pussy. Anyway, if she wants to go out with him, she'll say yes. If she doesn't say yes, you know it's a lost cause and you move on. I don't like basketball, Burlu said. What do you like? I like opera. Diesel was hands on hips. You're shitting me. Burlu fixed his attention on the display case. There's a pork roast missing.
You're
Sure
a
you can tell anything. I gave it away. It's a charity thing. Girl Scouts. Diesel's attention wandered to the street. Hey, get this, he said. Coffee girl must be off work for the day. She's got her coat on and her purse over her shoulder, and it looks like she's coming over here. She's out of the coffee shop and crossing the street. Oh, no, Burlu said. She doesn't have more coffee, does she? No, Diesel said. No coffee. The bell chimed on the front door and Jet walked in. Hi, she said to me. Your cousin is going to make me Employee of the Month for selling so much coffee. Her attention turned to Diesel. Hello, she said. He's gay, I told her. Flaming, wears ladies' panties. Jet sighed. I knew he was too good to be true. She looked over at Larry Burlu. Straight as an arrow, I said. Jet nodded. It's important to know stuff like that about your butcher. Like, is he married? Nope, totally available. So, I would be smart to buy meat here? You wouldn't regret it, I said. Good. I feel like steak tonight. Diesel slid a look at me. Carnivore, he whispered. Jet directed her attention to Burlu. Oh, it looks tasty. Do you want to grill it or broil it or pan fry it? Burlu asked. I don't know. Something healthy. I have a great recipe that I do with sirloin, Burlu said. I marinate it, and then I broil it with vegetables. That sounds terrific, Jet said. Maybe you could show me how to do it. Sure, Burlu said. It's real easy. I could do it tonight if you want. I'll bring the steak and stuff with me. Jet wrote her address on a scrap of butcher paper. Come over when you're done with work. I'll get some wine. And she left. Diesel and I looked at Burlew. What the hell was that? Diesel asked. I'm good when it comes to meat, Burlew said. It was twilight when we left the butcher's shop. Streetlights were glowing behind swirling snow, and Trenton was looking cold but cozy. We're hot at this relationship shit, Diesel said. We do things all wrong, and it all turns out right. We drove back to Beaner's neighborhood and cruised several blocks. Diesel stopped in front of Ernie's, and I ran in to take a fast look. No Beaner in sight, so I returned to the car. It's too early, Diesel said. We should come back around 8. We need to get to my parents' house anyway, I told him. I said we'd be there for dinner. We? I didn't want you to feel left out. I remember your parents. They run a loony bin. Okay, fine. Drop me off at the door. No way, Diesel said. I wouldn't miss this for anything. We just have to make a fast stop at my apartment to get Bob. A half hour later, we opened my bathroom door, and Bob looked out at us, all droopy-eyed and drooling and panting. He did some pathetic whimpering noises, opened his mouth and said, "Cat," and barked up a roll of toilet paper. Better than a couch, Diesel said. I cleaned up the toilet paper and put a new roll in the holder. By the time I was done, Bob was completely perked up, affectionately rubbing against Diesel, spreading dog slime the length of his leg. Probably I should change clothes before we go to your parents' house, Diesel said. For sure. Diesel pulled a pair of jeans and a shirt out of his backpack. They were exact duplicates of what he was wearing, minus the slime and pizza sauce. No better, no worse. He peeled his shirt off, unlaced his boots, and stepped out of his boots and jeans. Good God, I said, and whirled around so I wasn't facing him. Not that it mattered. The image of Diesel in briefs was burned into my brain. Ranger and Morelli, the two men in my life, were physically perfect in very different ways. Ranger was Cuban-American with dark skin and dark eyes, and sometimes dark intentions. He had a kickboxer's body and special forces skills. Morelli was hard and angular, his temperament Italian, his muscle and skill acquired on the street. Diesel was put together on a larger scale, and while I couldn't see details, I suspected he was larger everywhere. My grandmother was setting the table when we arrived. The extension was in, and the kitchen chairs and a kid's high chair had been brought out to seat 10. Valerie and Albert were already there. Albert was watching television with my dad. I could hear Valerie in the kitchen talking to my mom. Her oldest girl, Angie, was on the floor in the living room coloring in a coloring book. The middle kid, Mary Alice, was galloping around the dining room table, pretending she was a horse. The baby was on Albert's lap. All action stopped when Diesel walked in. Oh, geez, my father said. Nice to see you again, sir, Diesel said. I remember you, Mary Alice said. You used to have a ponytail. I did, Diesel said, but I thought it was time for a change. Sometimes I'm a reindeer, Mary Alice said. Is it different from being a horse? Diesel asked her. Yeah, because when I'm a reindeer, I got antlers and I can fly like Rudolph. Cannot, Angie said. Can do, cannot. I can fly a little, Mary Alice said. I cut my eyes to Diesel. Diesel smiled and shrugged. I let Bob off his leash, left Diesel in the living room to charm my father, and went to the kitchen to check in with my mother. Is there anything I can do? I asked. You can spoon the red sauce into the gravy boat, and you can try to talk some sense into your grandmother. She won't listen to me. Now what? Have you seen her? She was setting the table. Did you take a good look? Grandma Mazur shuffled into the kitchen. She was in her 70s, and gravity hadn't been kind. She was all slack skin and dimpled flesh draped on a wiry frame. Her hair was steel gray and permed. Her teeth were bought. Her eyes didn't miss much. Her lips were horribly swollen. Well, napkins, she said. There's no oil in the china cabinet. Oh my God, I said. What happened to your mouth? Sexy, huh? Grandma said. She had her lips plumped up, my mother said. She went to some idiot doctor and had herself injected. And next week, I'm getting ass implants, Grandma said. No or shaggy ass for ye. Ass implants are serious, I told her. You might not want to do that. There's a sale on implants next week, Grandma said. I hate to miss a sale. Yes, but implants have to be incredibly painful. You won't be able to sit. Why don't we just find a sale on shoes? We can go to Macy's and then have lunch in the food court. Okay, Grandma said. That sounds like fun. My mother took the lasagna, and I took the red sauce, and Grandma took a basket of bread to the table. Everyone seated themselves and dug in. Grandma Mazur took some lasagna and poured herself a glass of red wine. She forked some lasagna into her mouth and took a sip of wine, and everything fell out of her mouth onto her lap. Bob rushed over and ate the food off Grandma's lap and then settled himself back under the table, ever alert. "My lip are all egg," she said. "They don't work." My mother jumped up and returned with a straw for Grandma and a tumbler of booze for herself. My father had his head bent over his lasagna. "Just shoot me," he said. "I like lasagna," Albert Clown said. "It stays on your plate, and if you don't use too much red sauce, hardly any gets on your shirt." Clown was a struggling lawyer who got his degree from the Acme School of Law in Barbados. He was a nice guy, but he was as soft as a fresh new dinner roll, and his upper lip broke out into a sweat when he got nervous, which was a lot. "How's the law business?" I asked him. "It's good. I even have a couple clients. Okay, one eventually died, but that happens sometimes, right?" "And how's the new house?" "It's working out real good. It's a lot better than living with my mother." "And what about getting married?" Clown turned white, farted, and fell off his chair in a faint. Diesel got up and dragged Clown to his feet and sat him back in his chair. "Take a deep breath," Diesel said to Clown. "How embarrassing," Clown said. "Dude," Diesel said, "everyone feels like that about marriage. Get over it." "Poor Snuggle Uggums," Valerie said, spoon-feeding Clown some noodles. "Did him hurt himself?" Diesel draped an arm across my shoulders and put his mouth to my ear. "We definitely want to go with the stun gun. In fact, I think we should stun gun both of them. Maybe you can get Albert to take a walk with you after dinner and you can talk to him. He got in touch with Annie and asked for help, so he's obviously motivated." "That will be high on the list of things I don't want to do, second only to getting zapped by Beaner." "About Beaner, just exactly what is it that happens when he zaps someone?" "You don't want to know, and I don't want to tell you. Let's just leave it alone for now." "I've been thinking about Beaner. Maybe we should talk to Mrs. Beaner. Does she live in the Trenton area?" "She lives in Hamilton Township." "Is she unmentionable? Does she have scary, evil skills?" "She's mildly unmentionable. Doesn't do much with it, mostly parlor tricks, bending spoons and winning at rummy. I interviewed her when I got the Beaner assignment." "And?" "You know everything I know. She said she was tired of marriage, wanted to try something else. She told me Beaner blamed it all on Annie Hart, but Annie didn't have anything to do with it. Annie was just a friend. She didn't know where Beaner was staying, but clearly it was in the Trenton area because he was determined to get even with Annie." "That's it? Why didn't you ask her to lure Beaner over to discuss things, and then you could jump out of the closet and do your bounty hunter thing and capture Beaner?" "She knows better than to be around when Beaner goes down. There'll be fallout, and she wants no part of it." "What about you? Aren't you afraid of Beaner?" "It takes a lot to damage me, and Beaner doesn't have that kind of power. The best he could do is make me mildly uncomfortable." "Okay, how about this? We get Mrs. Beaner to lie to her husband. Set up a bogus meeting." "Tried that. She wouldn't do it." I mushed a piece of bread around in my leftover sauce. "You know what that means?" Diesel did a palms up. He didn't know what it meant. "She still cares about him," I said. "She doesn't want to betray him. She doesn't want him captured and neutralized or whatever it is that you do." Diesel helped himself to a second chunk of lasagna. "Maybe. Or maybe she just doesn't want to get involved." "I could talk to her." "Probably not a bad idea," Diesel said. He looked at his watch. "Here's the plan. I get Albert out into the air and walk him around the block and try to figure out what the heck he wants to do about getting married. You talk to your sister and see if she's on board. And at 8, we try our luck at Ernie's bar. If things don't work out, tomorrow you visit Mrs. Beaner." Chapter 7. We were in my car on our way to Ernie's. It had stopped snowing, but the sky was moonless black, and the air had a bite to it. "How'd it go with Albert?" I asked Diesel. "He didn't faint, but he wasn't real coherent. From what I can tell, he wants to get married, but the thought of the ceremony freaks him out. Apparently the poor guy's even tried getting hypnotized, but he still can't get down the aisle. How about tranquilizers? He said he tried them and had an allergic reaction and went gonzo. I talked to Valerie, and she pretty much told me the same thing. Not that I didn't know it already. He's really a sweet guy. He loves the kids, and he loves Valerie, and I know he would love being married. It's getting married that's the problem. Diesel cruised down the street and pulled to the curb across from Ernie's. Is he in there? I asked Diesel. I don't think so, Diesel said after a couple beats. But it wouldn't hurt for you to take a look anyway. I crossed the street, pushed through the big oak door into the warm pub, and hiked myself up onto a bar stool. No trouble claiming a seat. Ernie's was an after-work place, not a Saturday night date destination, and it was eerily empty. A few regulars nursed drinks at the bar and numbly watched the overhead television. The tables were empty. The lone bartender ambled over to me. "What'll it be?" he asked. "I'm looking for a friend. He was here last night. Has a birthmark on his face? His name's Bernie." "Yeah, I know the guy. Didn't know his name was Bernie. Not real talky, pays in cash. He hasn't been in today. We get a different crowd during the week. Saturday and Sunday, it's real slow. Were you supposed to meet him?" "No, I just thought I might run into him." I left the bar and returned to the car. "He's not there," I told Diesel. "The bartender said he hasn't seen him. Maybe we spooked him off this afternoon. Maybe he saw us walking around looking for him." Diesel was behind the wheel with his phone in his hand. "I have a problem," he said. "Annie isn't answering. I check on her 4 times a day. This is the first time she hasn't answered." "Maybe she's in the shower." "She knows I call at this time. She's supposed to be there. I'm having a guy I know drop in on her. He lives in her building." "Why aren't you staying with him?" "He has a girl living with him, and he drives me nuts. You drive me nuts too, but in a more interesting way." Oh boy. "Do you think Beaner found Annie?" Diesel did a palms up. "Dunno." Diesel's phone rang, and he looked at the readout. "It's Flash," he said to me. "The guy in Annie's building?" "Yeah." A minute later, Diesel disconnected, put the car in gear, and pulled into the stream of traffic. "She isn't in the apartment. The door was locked. Nothing seemed to be disturbed." "Did she take her purse?" I asked him. Diesel looked at me blank-faced. "Dunno." "Boots? Coat?" "Dunno." "Were the lights left on?" "Dunno." He hung a U-turn and headed for the center of the city. "Let's go take a look." 20 minutes later, we were on a side street in downtown Trenton. Diesel used a passkey to get into an underground garage, parked the car, and we took the elevator to the 7th floor, leaving Bob in the car. There were 4 apartments on the floor. Diesel knocked on 704 and unlocked the door. We stepped inside and looked around. Lights were on. There was a purse on the kitchen counter, wallet and assorted junk inside. No keys. I checked closets. No winter coat or jacket. No boots. "Here's what I think," I said to Diesel. "She took her keys and winter coat, but she left her purse behind. So I think she stepped out for a moment and didn't intend to go far. Maybe she just needed air or wanted to walk a little. And then maybe something unexpected happened to her." It was a nice apartment. Not fancy, but tastefully decorated and comfortable. Small kitchen, living room, dining alcove, single bedroom, and bath. "It's a pleasant apartment," I said to Diesel, "but I can see where Annie would get squirrely after being cooped up here for a few days. Her phone wasn't in her purse. Why don't you try calling her phone again?" Diesel dialed Annie on his cell. After a couple beats, we heard the phone ringing. We followed the sound to the bedroom and found her cell phone on the floor by the bed. "I don't know what to think," I said to Diesel. "I take my phone everywhere with me. I don't know why she'd leave her phone here, except that it's on the floor, so maybe it fell out of her pocket." Diesel wrote a note on a sticky pad in the kitchen and pasted the note to the refrigerator. The message was simple. "Call me immediately." We locked up behind ourselves and took the elevator to the garage. We drove out to the street, and I had a genius idea. We were only 2 blocks away from the Pleasure Treasure. It was open until 10 on Saturdays, and it probably had a book Janine the Virgin would find helpful. "Turn right at the next corner," I told Diesel. "There's a sex toy store 2 blocks from here, and we might be able to find a book for Janine." I could see Diesel smile in the dark car. "Just when I think my day's in the toilet, you suggest a sex toy store. Honey, you're a ray of sunshine." I hate to rain on your parade, but I know about this place because I made a bust here in the fall. Then let's hope this trip is more fun, because I could really use some fun. Diesel parked in the small lot next to the store. I promised Bob a bedtime snack if he'd be a good dog just a little longer, and Diesel and I went inside. We were the only shoppers. A solitary clerk was behind the counter reading a movie star magazine. She looked up when we entered and sucked in some air when she saw Diesel. She was in her 20s and completely punked out with black-rimmed eyes and multiple piercings. Just browsing, I told her. Sure, she said. Let me know if I can help. Diesel followed me to the book section, selected a book, and thumbed through. Is it good? I asked. Yeah, look at this, Diesel said. Have you ever tried this? I looked at the picture. That's gotta be uncomfortable, if not impossible. Hey, pictures don't lie. They're doing it. He draped an arm around me and put his mouth to my ear. I bet I could do it. You're a sick man. Maybe we should ask Raccoon Woman if she has a starter book. If we show this to Janine, she's liable to check herself into a nunnery. Diesel pulled another book off the shelf. This looks more basic. It starts off with anatomy, and there are photographs of everything. We should buy 2 of these. It was sort of embarrassing to be looking at crotch shots with Diesel. Sure, I said. Buy 2. I glanced at my watch. Geez, look at the time. If we hurry, we can catch the end of the game. What game is that? Diesel wanted to know. I don't know. Any game. Diesel moved to the video section. We should get Janine a movie. They've got some good ones. No movies for Janine. Janine isn't into moaning, and they always do a lot of moaning in the movies. Moaning is fun, Diesel said. I cut my eyes to him. Do you moan? Not usually. Why not? I'd feel stupid. Exactly. Just pay for the books with your phony credit card and let's go home. Bet I could make you moan, Diesel said, smiling. I feel like moaning now, I told him, and it has nothing to do with sex. I unwrapped my scarf and hung it on a hook on the wall next to my front door. I draped my heavy winter jacket over the scarf and exchanged my snow boots for shearling slippers. I can't believe you bought all that stuff, I said to Diesel. It's for Janine, unless you want to take something for a test drive. No. Are you sure? We've got a bag full of fun here. I bet we've got samples of every condom ever invented. No. Diesel set the bag on the kitchen counter and went to the refrigerator. He backed out with a couple beers. You know what your problem is? You're too uptight. I'm not uptight. I've got a boyfriend and I don't mess around. Admirable, but this living arrangement would work better if you had fewer scruples, Diesel said. I don't fit on the couch. Do you fit on the floor? That's cool. Diesel said. I took a beer from him and unwrapped a loaf of bread that had been sitting on the counter. We made a stack of peanut butter sandwiches, gave one to Bob, and took the beer and the rest of the sandwiches into the living room and turned the television on. I want to know about Beaner, I said to Diesel. What are his powers? What kind of chaos does he cause? I'd like to tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. Tell me anyway. I'd really rather not. Great. Don't tell me. I'll get the story from Mrs. Beaner tomorrow. Okay, I'll tell you, Diesel said. But if you laugh, I swear I'll turn you into a toad. You can't actually do that, can you? The better question is, would I? And the answer is no. About Beaner? Diesel washed his sandwich down with half a beer. He can give you a rash. A rash? Yep. That's it? Sweetie pie, this isn't any ordinary rash. It's the mother of all rashes. It makes you itch everywhere. It's nonstop torture for anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks. It's related to poison sumac and looks like hives. Doesn't necessarily leave scars unless you start carving yourself up with a knife because you can't stand the itching. Wow. Diesel sunk low into the couch and closed his eyes. Who am I trying to kid? It's a rash, for crying out loud. How bad can a rash be? He pressed the heels of his hands into his eyes. Used to be I tracked dangerous sexual deviants and insane despots. Last time I was here, I disabled a guy who shut down the Northeast power grid at Christmas. That's the kind of stuff you can get your teeth into. He sunk lower and groaned. And now I'm hunting Mr. Itchy. Do you have any idea what this does for my image? It's not good? It's a nightmare. There's no way to even put a decent spin on it. Big Bad Diesel is out to shut down a poor slob whose only claim to fame is his ability to give people hives. I burst out laughing. I like it. I went to the kitchen and brought a bag of cookies back to Diesel. I opened the bag and we each took a cookie, and Bob got 2. How does he do it? I asked Diesel. Is this some kind of contact skin disease? I don't know how he does it. I've never actually seen it happen firsthand, but I know he can spread the rash without contact. Maybe Beaner would give Annie a rash and be done with it. Maybe he just needs to get it out of his system, I said to Diesel. Diesel shook his head. He's nutso. He was stalking her, reinfecting her every chance he got. It was ugly. Annie had hives on top of hives. Tell me more about Beaner. He has some minor skills. He's good with mechanical things. Used to own a garage. Sold it last year and is sort of retired. Probably was driving his wife nuts hanging around the house. He's pretty much a normal guy, with the exception of this rash thing. And until a week ago, he was completely undercover. People would break out in unexplained hives, and that was the end of it. When his wife left, and he decided Annie was responsible, he went public. For the first couple of days, it was just directed at Annie. But then he lost control and started lashing out at random people whenever he got angry. Bummer. Yeah, big whoopee-doo. Anyway, I was told to shut him down. You don't mean shut him down as in permanently? Shut him down as in pull the plug on his power. You can do that? I have ways. I was curious about those ways, but I didn't think he'd tell me. And probably it was better not to know. So I ate 2 more cookies and shoved off the couch. I'm going to bed. See you in the morning. I woke up to the sun shining through the vertical crack in my bedroom curtain and a heavy arm draped across my chest. Diesel was sprawled next to me, looking more disreputable than ever with a 4-day-old beard. Like I don't have enough problems with the men in my life, now I have a 3rd guy crawling into my bed. Too much of a good thing. At least I was still wearing my pajamas. That was comforting. I eased away from Diesel, slithered from under the arm, and rolled out of bed. I grabbed some clean clothes, locked myself in the bathroom, and hopped into the shower. I had a full day ahead of me. Talk to Mrs. Beaner and check on Gary Martin, Charlene Klinger, and Larry Burlew. I had the pleasure treasure bag to take to Janine. And then there was Annie Hart. I was hoping Annie was back in her apartment, but I thought it was unlikely. By the time I emerged from the bathroom, Diesel was out of bed, standing at my kitchen counter eating a bowl of cereal. I fed and walked the dog, Diesel said. I didn't know what to do about the rat. Hamster, whatever. I gave Rex fresh water, filled his bowl with hamster crunchies, and poured out some cereal for myself. Have you heard from Annie? I asked Diesel. No, she didn't answer when I called this morning, so I had Flash check on her apartment again. Still empty. He put his cereal bowl in the dishwasher. I need to go solo this morning and try to get a fix on Annie. I'm going to jump in the shower and take off. I wrote Beaner's wife's address on the pad on the counter. Her name is Betty. She's expecting you. I don't know how helpful she'll be, but you can give it a shot. I'll be on my cell. The number's also on the pad. Do you have a car? I can get one. Okay, I wasn't going to ask questions about that either. I was standing at the counter enjoying a second cup of coffee when Diesel walked into the kitchen. His hair was still damp, and he smelled like my shower gel. He had his jacket on and his scarf wound around his neck. Catch up with you later, he said. I blinked, and he was gone. Not magically. Out the door, down the hall, to the elevator. I rinsed my cup and went to the bathroom to brush my teeth. I turned to leave the bathroom and bumped into Ranger. I shrieked and jumped away. Didn't mean to startle you, he said. Usually I sense Ranger behind me by the change in air pressure and the hint of desire. I wasn't paying attention today, and I was caught by surprise. Men keep sneaking up on me, I told him. I saw Diesel leave. Do you know Diesel? From a distance, Ranger said. Is Diesel a problem? No more than usual. We're sort of working together. I have to go out of town for a couple days. Tank will be here, and I'll be on my cell. I need to talk to you when I get back. He brushed a light kiss across my lips and left. The man of mystery, I said to the closed door. I heard that, Ranger said, from the other side. Chapter 8. I dropped Bob at my parents' house and asked them to dog sit. I had coffee with my mother and Grandma, and by the time I rolled down Betty Buhner's street, it was a little past 9. I parked in her driveway and checked out her house. Average suburbia in every way. 2-story colonial, landscaped front yard, fenced backyard, 2-car garage, freshly painted. I rang the bell, and Betty answered on the second ring. She was shorter than me and pleasantly round. She had a round face with a nice mouth that looked like it smiled a lot. Round, wide-open eyes, rounded hips, and big round breasts. She was a Rubenesque woman. She looked to be around 50. I extended my hand. Stephanie Plum. I've been expecting you, she said. Diesel called. We thought you might be able to help us with Bernie. I can't believe he's running around giving out hives like a senile old fool. I swear, the man is an embarrassment. I followed her through the living room and dining room and into the kitchen. She'd been at the small kitchen table reading the paper, drinking coffee. It was a charming room, decorated in warm tones, rusts and yellows mostly. Small print wallpaper and matching curtains on the windows. Betty poured a cup of coffee out for me, and we sat at the table. I looked down at the paper and realized she'd been looking at the want ads. Getting a job? I asked her. Betty had a red pen on the table by the paper, but none of the ads were circled. I've been thinking about it. Problem is, I can't do anything. I've been a housewife all these years. 200? She smiled. Yes, at least it seems like that. Actually, Bernie and I have been married for 35 years. He was working in a garage and I took my car in there to get fixed, and next thing, we were married.
hear you. There is no sound. I can't hear. There you go. Is that better? Your turn, Mr. Owens. All right, what shirt do you want? All blue or blue and red? You want all blue or blue and red?
That means I can go for a walk.
You want the blue? This one is.
And last time I heard and checked, Striker was on layoffs.
Hi.
They're not really, yeah. Like what it seems like they're looking for is qualified, experienced people. So you have to have certain qualifications. You have to have certain.
I will guarantee they'll hire you back.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Where are your pants? Decline.
It's like I thought I declined it. Want me to answer it? I don't.
Ow! Okay. Hey, you know what? We forgot to tell Graham and thank you the other day for taking you to the hockey game, so we gotta make sure next time we see her that we say thank you. Can you tell her thank you? You know, the more you hang up, the more it just keeps coming back.
Okay. I don't do it. The baby did.
Oh, you're gonna throw it at me? Hi, Andrew.
Still can barely hear him.
Can't really hear. I can't really hear you. Andrew. Take out the Bluetooth. I can't hear you. Yeah, take them both out. Turn it. Andrew, stop calling with Bluetooth. They don't work. Why what? What are you talking about?
Here we are again. There is
Andrew,
something special
they
about
do
amphibious
not work well. I cannot hear you.
And from what I hear, it's also used these days. The storm is very tropical indeed. I am trying to figure who's the other issues. Why don't we give him some more? Now pay attention. You are Richland Silver.
Andrew, what did I tell you this morning? Look at no, look at me. No, your eyes are to look at me. Stop looking away and look at me. What did I tell you this morning? No, that's not what I said. Tell the weekend. Right. Okay.
So let's this when dealing with paranoid drug lords. Expect
Can't come home this
CCTV
weekend.
everywhere.
Because I can't bring you home this weekend. Andrew, I have to work every weekend almost.
The beauty of analog electronics. Reliable, hardworking, easy to hack. Here is how you use the tool.
Hey,
Plug the wires on the left to the
hey,
values on
I
the
need to know
right
when your
top
spring
of the
break
module.
is.
The values must add up to the target voltage. That's the number in the middle.
Andrew, put the phone up to the paper so I can see it. No, don't read it. No, don't read it. Hold up the phone so I can
The
see
system
it.
is down, but remember, compound air defenses are independent. No way to take them down.
You can stop your cussing. Dude, where's your pen? Come on. Stop moving it. I can't see the date. Move it back a little. Alright, go down a little. Alright. Spring break. Say, no, you gotta move it back a little. No.
By the way,
Stop
you always have
moving.
room in your bag for main objectives. I have crafted special compartment for
Is that see? I can't see because it's blurry. Because you're moving. Set the paper, Andrew, set the paper on the bed or on a piece of flat surface.
slow you down, perhaps too much.
You're making this a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Now hold the phone up to where it says spring break. Now move it over. Now move it over to the side where it says the date. March 29th or April 5th. Okay.
Nothing. This game beat the last night perfectly, and I have to redo it.
Hi, Tyler.
Yeah. Okay. Now that I just found out when spring break is, which of course is the week after.
Okay.
I might bring him home on that Sunday, so he's home. Oh shit. That Sunday is Easter, so the following Monday is Easter Monday. I gotta find out if I can work or not. Because I wanted to bring him home, but I might not be able to bring him home until Monday. It's Tuesday. Tracy will have to work, so I won't be able to work. What? Yes, I read it.
Something special about amphibious landing. The calm before the tropical
Andrew.
Attention, you reach line 6.
And we could do it right now.
GPS tracker confirmed. I have your position. I will also access compound CCTV once you are inside.
What?
Remember, cameras everywhere. Almost like Mr. Rubio feels a little paranoid sometimes.
What? Maybe. All right, one for your cake. Got it.
The beauty of analog electronics. Reliable, hardworking, easy to hack. Here is how you use the tool. Plug the wires on the left into the values on the right, or top to bottom. The values must add up to the target voltage. That's the number in the middle. Excellent. System down. Confirmed. But the compound has separate air defenses. Do not forget. Those you must avoid. By the way, you will always have room in your bag for main objective. I have crafted special compartment for it. As my uncle would say, you kill the moose, you carry it home. You understand? Yes. The heavier the things you take, the slower you will be. Kill Americans with your self-sufficiency. Infiltrating private islands on your own. In Russia, we bring friends, and our friends can bring bags. More bags, more money in the bags. Perhaps next time, yes. You could always drive through the main gate. You would need the right vehicle, of course.
Alright, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
We cannot resist coming back, like child at a candy store, or as was in Russia, like child breaking into secure compound. You know, a man like Mr. O'Stroke would rather die than abandon his expensive taste. No matter how many times he is robbed. In Russia, we call such men ATM. This is one hell of a way to make a lot of money, huh, Capitan?
Elvis, where'd you go off to?
Checkpoint just ahead. Keep quiet and move quickly before they see through your disguise.
Go bye-bye, Mom. Go get your hair cut. Go help me, friend.
Hostile choppers coming in.
Tired of being like, I'll sit in it for a little bit. Well, technically, I don't even know if Tiana and Zayden are home yet.
No.
boy. Okay. Or not. He's gonna throw it away and then get excited against it.
You know?
Mom is also wondering if I should go back and do a revision on my taxes and claim you. And I'm like, well, he has to do his taxes. I don't think I can claim him.
If I claim myself, you can't claim me. And if you claim me, you're going to end up moving that money back to shop. Well, you'll end up getting the money.
I know. And that's why I don't think I should do it. I think you should do it so it could go on.
There is something special about amphibious listing. It can't be for the tropical storm. And from what I hear, it's really using these days. The storm is very tropical indeed. I'm sorry to see your host has issues. Why don't we give him some more, huh? Now pay attention. You are Richland Soul. Please acquired. I have your location. Once you're inside the compound, I will be able to see you on CCTV.
And Jeff's so funny. Jeff called me this morning and goes, so I'm trying to get a pin for Justin. And I get in the system and it says your pin's expired. I go, oh, okay. He goes, didn't I give you your pin? I go, yeah, you gave me your pin or the pin. And I told you it didn't work for me. And you never got back to me. And I was like, okay, so I just kept using your PIN number. He goes, Stephanie, can you guys slap me upside the head and tell me to stop being an idiot? And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're just always busy. Always wanting to do things. Can guarantee you, after he's done closing on Saturday, he's gonna run to Galesburg and go run a route or two. I told him I don't think he should be doing this because Chad's the postmaster. He should be out there fucking delivering it. Apparently, that's Chad was. I was like, oh, really?
Try this again. Well, this again, I'm just going to go take my walk. If I fail this again, I'm just going to take my walk.
Hey, over there.
Welcome back again. Perhaps Mr. Rubio thinks we are finished. He tells himself we would have it be crazy to keep coming back. He does not appreciate the Russian military strategy. We make no distinction between madness and genius. Okay, come, let us give him another lesson. position. I go now to landfall.
Seriously.
GPS marks are ahead of position. I will also